I want to start off on the election campaign and the ugly stuff that is ongoing around the country. We can start off in the seat of Kooyong in Melbourne, where the Treasurer Josh Frydenberg is fighting a battle against one of those so-called voices, so-called independent Green left candidates, of course. So there's a big focus on his seat. They think maybe this is the time they can take that seat, get rid of the Treasurer. And there's been some posters defaced in recent days. Posters have been marked with swastikas, would you believe, which is disgusting enough at any stage, but especially, of course, given that Josh Frydenberg is such a high-profile Jewish politician, the swastika is particularly appalling. One of the posters also has given Frydenberg a Hitler moustache, and there is a Stop Adani sticker thrown in on that one. So we don't know, of course, who's responsible for this sort of vile defacing. We don't know, but we get a hint, I suppose, with the Stop Adani sticker put on one of those posters. In Sydney, in the battle for Wentworth, which is a similar one because the sitting Liberal Dave Sharma, he's a backbencher, but there's a so-called voices of, so-called independent candidate, in this case Allegra Spender being the Green left candidate. They're hoping to take Wentworth off the Liberals, and she's in a bit of strife because one of her key backers, one of the early organisers of the Wentworth independent movement, has been caught out or exposed, I suppose, for her anti-Israel propaganda. Now, her name is Blair Palese, and she's been out there, one of the originals, as I say, looking to get an independent into Wentworth. She's made public pronouncements against Israel, accusing it of being an apartheid state, and she's been supporting the divestments and sanctions movement. Here she is there in the middle in the Spender T-shirt. She's been supporting the boycott, divestments and sanctions movement. She's talked about the fictional country of Palestine taking Israel to the criminal court, and she's backed all sorts of protests aimed at delegitimising Israel. Now, Spender has had to distance herself from these sentiments and proclaim her strong support for Israel, which is pretty important because there is a large Jewish community in the electorate of Wentworth. So having this sort of anti-Israel element inside her own campaign is not going to help in the battle for Wentworth at all when it comes to Allegra Spender. What is helping Allegra Spender, though, is some high-profile former ABC hosts. The former Whitlam staffer and longtime ABC host Kerry O'Brien has joined with another former ABC host, Quentin Dempster, in supporting Spender and hosting functions with her. They've been doing the same for some of these other so-called independent Green left candidates around the country. These are the two blokes, of course, who always said that they were political neuters and completely objective when they were in the ABC, but now they're out there campaigning for these Green left candidates. I suppose it bells the cat in many ways because it exposes their hard left politics, and it also exposes those independents who like to pretend they're somewhere in the middle, centrist, exposes that they are in fact Green left candidates. But how about Quentin Dempster and Kerry O'Brien? How they'll be out there campaigning for the Green left one day, and the next day they'll be campaigning for more ABC funding, defending the accusations of bias against the ABC.